Hey guys, it's Ryan, and it is the Passion Week. We're going to spend the next couple days walking through Jesus' final days before the crucifixion. And so I'm so excited to be able to share this passage out of Mark chapter 11. We are on Monday before the crucifixion, and I'm going to pick it up in verse 15 of Mark chapter 11. It says, "On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. And as he taught them, he said, 'Is it not written, my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations, but you have made it a den of robbers.' The chief priests and the teachers of the law heard this and began looking for a way to kill him, for they feared him, because the whole crowd was amazed at his teaching." And so we come to the end of Palm Sunday. Jesus walks into Jerusalem. It's late in the day. He looks around the temple courts. It says that he's observing what's happening. And because it was late, he goes back to Bethany with his disciples, which is about 2 miles away. Now, the very next morning, which is Monday, which is what we're talking about today, Jesus and his disciples walk back the 2 miles into Jerusalem. They go into the temple. And as soon as Jesus and the disciples walk in, he's looking around and he sees the money changers. He sees people selling animals for sacrifices. And really what was happening there is those merchants were taking advantage of the citizens that were there. And Jesus is grieved by it. He's getting ready to cleanse the temple. And I love that it shows God's nature here, right? We know that God is a jealous God, and that jealousy is talking about zealousness for his holiness, for his glory. And so Jesus is showing his passion for the things of God right here in this situation. He turns over the tables, he drives out the money changers, he drives out the merchants, he stops all of this buying and selling. And I love that his passion here is for God's house. His passion here is for God's holiness. And I love that Jesus is showing, he's cleansing the temple to purify the temple, right? By cleansing, by driving everything that was impure out, he's cleansing the temple. So he's passionate about purity. He's also passionate about our priorities. Listen to what he says. He says, "My house will be called a house of prayer," right? That's the priority. "But you have made it a den of robbers." He's saying you are living for yourselves here. You're only thinking about yourself and not what God's intent was, not what God's, his holiness, his priorities, the things that are close to his heart. And then lastly, the religious leaders of that day saw that Jesus was this amazing teacher, that he was drawing people, that he was speaking of the kingdom, and there was something different about him. And from that moment, after he turns those tables over, the chief priests and the teachers of the law try to figure out a way to destroy him, to take down this Jesus. And so you see that Jesus has a passion for our hearts. The religious leaders were prideful. They were fearful. They were jealous, but not in the same way that Jesus was jealous. They were jealous over his attention, his power. They were afraid that their rule was, their influence was going to be taken away from them. And we see Jesus here teaching against them and the whole idea of selling in the temple, and was coming against those chief priests and the teachers. And then in verse 19, it says, "When evening came, Jesus and disciples went out of the city," and they go back to Bethany. And so that's the end of Monday. And so we want you guys to tune in every day during this week of Passion Week. Tomorrow will be somebody different. It'll be a different situation. Again, recounting the last days of Jesus before the crucifixion. Of course, we're leading up into Sunday, right? When he rises from the grave. And so we're so excited. We're so excited to be able to celebrate Passion Week and Easter, and we hope that you guys will join us each day this week.